Welcome back, everybody. So what happens when a prog band is made up of well-established journeymen? They have a lineup change and then they break up. Thank you for watching. Alright, I'll tell the whole story. The band I'm referring to is UK. I'd like to share a brief history of the band as well as their quick demise. UK released a small body of work but earned a place in prog rock history. The story of UK actually starts off with Rick Wakeman. Wakeman had fallen into financial issues and had to disband his group, the English Rock Ensemble, in August of 1976. At the suggestion of his manager Brian Lane, Wakeman would form a new band of established and known musicians. Luckily for Wakeman, his ex-colleague from Yes, drummer Bill Bruford, and ex-King Crimson bassist and vocalist John Wetton were available and thinking along the same lines. Rehearsals began and the news leaked to Melody Maker, who immediately rivaled them to Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. Since each musician had different recording contracts and managers, negotiations could not come to a consensus, taking Wakeman out of the equation. Even a name for the band was never decided upon, although Wakeman claims it could have been the British Legion. Left with Bruford and Wetton, each would invite one musician to join the group. Bruford brought in guitarist Alan Holdsworth and Wetton keyboardist-violinist Eddie Jobson. Now seems like a good time to list each band the members of UK played with up until this point. I apologize ahead of time if I missed any, and please take note of any overlapping between the musicians. Let's start with Bill Bruford. Played with Yes, King Crimson, National Health, Genesis, Roy Harper and Trigger, Brand X, Gong, Pavlov's Dog, as well as his own band aptly named Bruford. John Wetton played for Mogul Thrash, Gordon Haskell, Family, Renaissance, Larry Norman, King Crimson, Roxy Music, and Uriah Heep. Just as a side note, Annie Haslam once told me that Renaissance knew he wasn't going to stick around for very long because of the amount of talent that he had. Eddie Jobson played for Curved Air, Roxy Music, Frank Zappa, and keep in mind that Eddie Jobson was only 22 when he joined UK. Alan Holdsworth played with Iggenbottom, Nucleus, Tempest, Soft Machine, The New Lifetime, Gong, John Stevens, Jean-Luc Ponty, and also Bruford. Anyways, I wouldn't say the writing process was tumultuous, but it did have its challenges, considering you had four top-notch musicians coming from an array of bands. Bruford and Holdsworth would lean towards an experimental jazz and improvisational sound, while Wetton and Jobson did not. Bruford claimed it was like four writers all trying to write the same novel simultaneously, with only the barest common understanding of the plot. Jobson reflected that it was more of a puzzle than a fight. Let's talk about the name UK for a moment. Even the prog scholars have no idea what the letters stand for. So I have a suggestion. I believe it's underrated karate, or karate as some pronounce it. Wait, my producer's trying to talk to me. United Kingdom? Because they're from England. Well, that makes sense. Breaking news, everyone. UK stands for United Kingdom, and you've heard it here first. This video is going to go viral. UK's self-titled debut would release in March of 1978. What was produced was a good mix of accessible songs with improvisations and instrumental segments. Each member seemed to get their say and moments to shine. After limited touring, the band would break up. You can almost see it from their debut album cover as Wetton and Jobson are looking in one direction and Bruford and Holdsworth another. Although mostly an amicable split, members had their opinions and story to tell. Bruford claimed Jobson wanted to give the audience what they wanted, which is a dangerous game to play. Holdsworth said it was not a nice experience. A car ride after a gig from Philadelphia to New York sealed the deal, where Wetton strongly suggested the direction he wanted the band to go in, leaving no choice but for Bruford and Holdsworth to return to Bruford's namesake band. Bruford would be replaced by ex-Frank Zappa drummer Terry Bozzio, and Holdsworth's spot would be left vacant, making UK a trio, and leaning a little bit more towards pop, which was what Wetton had more or less intended. UK's second album, Danger Money, would be released in March of 1979. Danger Money is certainly a worthy follow-up, but considered to be inferior to many compared to their debut album. Between the first two albums, you can hear a shift from Wetton's previous work with King Crimson to his future band, Asia. More emphasis was put on vocals while still maintaining a strong prog sound with plenty of room for the instruments to stretch out. Overall, a very enjoyable listen, leaving very little to be disappointed about. The album cover also did a fantastic job promoting good hygiene practices. Later, that same year, UK would release their third and final album, Night After Night, UK Live. It was recorded in June of 1979 in Tokyo, Japan. The album featured very strong live arrangements of songs from their first two albums, as well as two excellent new songs. In all honesty, this is the album I return to the most. So what happened from here? Even though Wetton and Jobson shared a similar musical vision, they did not get on very well. Wetton would release some solo albums, but ultimately formed the highly successful band Asia, featuring guitarist Steve Howe from Yes, keyboardist Jeff Downes from the Buggles, and drummer Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. When UK was on tour supporting Jethro Tull, their flute-playing frontman Ann Anderson was taking notice of Eddie Jobson's keyboard skills and would inconspicuously watch him every night. I believed it looked something like this. Jobson would temporarily join Tull for their A album, which was originally intended to be an Ann Anderson solo album. This was actually my introduction to Eddie Jobson, and I could probably do a video on his 70s career. UK would reform with Wetton and Jobson between 2011 and 2015. Bozio would be in and out of the band, although Bruford and Holdsworth never participated in the reunion. Wetton and Holdsworth would both unfortunately pass away in 2017, hopefully playing the great gig in the sky. I wanted to let you know that I just received a copy of John Wetton's new biography entitled An Extraordinary Life, released by Rocket 88 Books. Now, I haven't read the book yet, but it features contributions from many musicians that had worked with John over the years, and there's no shortage of them. I was actually lucky enough to order the book early, so for any eagle-eyed people out there, you could actually find my full name in the book. So that should just about wrap things up. I appreciate the viewers watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.